So you wanna be a picture book writer, then you gotta write picture books. And you're gonna need a bucket load of bright ideas for titles, plots, and hooks. If you're partial to prose or you're raring to rhyme, then repeat after me. It's a challenge, but I'm gonna tackle each story 1 month at a time with 12 by 12.
So that's what, in my opinion, as pertains to my writing, that's what an unsung hero is. So then I had to ask myself, why is it important to write about them? I feel it is because it allows our children, our students, our fans, or our colleagues to experience richer historical connections. You can hear about the Underground Railroad all day long, but until you hear a firsthand account, sometimes they come out in the form of movies, but there are books with firsthand accounts. You can't make the connection between that Underground Railroad and what it really meant to the people who traveled along it. Number two, it helps students begin to fill in those missing pieces. And I'm going to use me as an example. When I was in 4th or 5th grade, my class was taken on a field trip to the Mary Walker Foundation. We got to walk inside of a replica of her cabin. We got to look at her artifacts. And the tour guide said she was set free at age 15, but she didn't learn to read until age 116. And then he moved on. He moved us on to the next attraction. But for me, I was thinking, okay, but why? If she was free, why didn't she learn to read and why didn't she better herself? But after I became an adult, I understood that just because somebody says you're free, just because they verbalize the word or put it on a piece of paper, that doesn't mean that person is guaranteed to be as successful as the other people in society. Freedom and success and all that goes with it, literacy, all of that depends on contacts. When I say contacts, personal and professional, resources, access to the resources. It depends on a wide array of things. And so for me, writing this book has filled in some of the pieces. And I've been getting letters and emails from people who said it filled in pieces for them too. So I really appreciate that. Number three, it shows children that you don't have to be rich. You don't have to be tall, and you don't have to be a certain color to be a hero. You don't have to be amazingly strong or impossibly beautiful. You don't have to lead a march or even write a book. You can lead a march and you can write a book, but if you don't, that doesn't stop you from being a hero. Yes, ordinary people can be heroes too. And then the last one, you get to examine history through another lens. And for me, what that means is, for instance, some people like eating beans and rice, but do they want to eat that every day? Don't you want a little spice or maybe some hot wings one day or some exotic dish? To me, that's the way history should be. I don't want to read about the same people all the time. I want a rich stew of personalities and biographies to read about. So that's what drives me when I'm searching for unsung heroes. Okay, so knowing all of this, you should be able to just jump right into researching unsung heroes. Wrong, because in typical research, you know who you're writing about, who the person is or the subject matter. So all you need to do is begin your research and gather your sources and write your story and then possibly send it to your critique group and get their feedback and then submit it to your agent or your publisher and hopefully find success. And after all of that, when you have all of that information, you can take off like a rocket, but not so when you're searching for unsung heroes, mainly because you don't know who you're going to be writing about. So how can you begin research and how can you find sources and vet and that sort of thing and send it to your critique group if you don't know who you're writing about? At least for purposes of the unsung heroes I'm talking about. So where do you start? And that's what I'm here for, to present my way of finding them. First, I use historical markers and I read obituaries. Now, I don't want anybody to think I run to the paper every day and read obituaries. I'm not morbid. But there are times in my feed online, there will be a news story about an incredible person who lived a very long life, and it'll have their obituary in it. And when you read it, you get this wide of how other people live and the people they encountered and the obstacles they overcame. So I watch out for unusual obituaries. And then I use the local history department of my public library all the time. Most local history departments have clipping files, and those are great places to start. But again, if you don't know who you're looking for, you need to be able to use a wide array of sources. So local history department, historical societies. I call on them quite a bit all across the country when I'm researching someone. You would be surprised at the information you can find. And when we go further into this presentation, you'll see a piece of information that I was given from a historical society about William Lewis hammering for freedom. And then old newspapers, of course. Old newspapers, and basically for me, that means the microfiche at your public library. But now there's a new platform called newspapers.com, and they are trying to digitize all the newspapers that ever were in the United States. It's a big project, but they have a bunch of them digitized, and I think that's a worthwhile platform to use. I don't have a subscription right now because I subscribe to everything, which means I have no time to read anything, but I keep within my radar because I know that they have stories and they have the pictures and the front page articles that I may need in the future. And then oral storytelling, nothing like it. If you have older relatives, or if you have friends with older relatives, or maybe someone who works with the older population, and make use of them. Actually, one of my sisters is director of nursing of an elderly care institution, and she has a patient who's 100 and I think she's 103, and her granddaughter talks to my sister all the time and tells her she wants me to come and interview her grandmother because this lady knew so many people, and she was in a branch of the military, and she's traveled all over the world, and she has a world of stories to tell. So we're trying to work that out because it's a very delicate situation when you start interviewing older people. You just want to make sure that you don't overstep your boundaries or exploit anyone. You don't want to do that, but oral storytelling is a great resource.
Do it together so never you fear. It's a handy little way to help you kick into gear. You're amazing, exciting. Look out, 'cause you're writing 12 by 12.
12 manuscripts.
12 by